Jeff Bowman already.
Okay.
Kevin Murphy, videographer for the community and member of the Southeast Chicago Historical Society, among other organizations, other community organizations, and tightly affiliated with Claretian Associates.
Tightly, very tight.
Yes, yes.
Joanne Hadcock, I came with him.
Okay.
Brenda Gamboa, I'm the mentor for cityLab.
Michael Wu, the Northern Mentor.
And our awesome students.
Marty Wu, intern.
Jonathan Philpotts, intern for cityLab.
Landon, intern for cityLab.
And can you just say school affiliations?
Kiri.
Kiri graduated.
Board of Members.
Presents.
Does Kevin and Joanne want to, because the stage right there. So.
Hello everyone, and thank you for coming to our final presentation. My name is Aiden.
I'm John.
I'm Ivory. And we're cityLab. This year, Landon and Baker Architects decided to partner up with Claretian Associates. And our mission is, well, cityLab is a summer workshop that incorporates neighborhood history, data collection, and personal stories of South Chicago. Our goal is to collect observations regarding the past, present, future framework of the neighborhood that will assist in understanding the community design and planning needs.
So this year we're focusing on South Chicago. South Chicago is the southeast community in the city of Chicago. It's about a 30-minute drive from downtown. And these are the steel mills that used to drive South Chicago. Back around when the steel mills were up and running. Everybody in the community basically had a job there, and it was accessible for everyone, and it made the economy thrive. But around the 1990s and the 1970s is when they started to decline, and that's when the community started to decline in value. And people had to find jobs elsewhere, and that's why the population has been declining over the last 40 years. And in this prime, Commercial Avenue used to be second to North Michigan Avenue and busiest, and it had a variety of amenities for everyone in the community.
So, as you can see, we have some familiar faces in the room. Every Wednesday, we have what we call a Smart Luck, and we basically present to the firm, and they give us feedback, and we also have guest speakers that come and give us information to help us out. This is Kevin and Joanne, my friends. They are South Chicago historians and sociologists. We also have Bennett Holland, which is the Director of Urban Planning for Chicago. We have Jeff Leslie. He came and talked to us about the Lakeside development. And also our friend Angela Herlock, she is the Executive Director of Claretian Associates, as you know. Well, when she gave us a tour earlier in the summer, she brought up a great question. What does the community of choice look like? So to answer that question, we use the method of SWOT, which is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of the community.
So we started to list out a couple of the strengths that South Chicago has. These include transportation, affordable housing, location, community organizations and institutions, strong history, arts, commercial district, and sustainability initiative. We decided that some of the community organizations that really give strength to the community include the YMCA, Claretian Associates, Metropolitan Family Services, among a lot of others. And some of the strengths that you can see here are also in this map. We decided to list all the amenities that South Chicago has and think about the same question that Angela brought up, which was, what does a community of choice look like? So we decided to list out everything that South Chicago has. Right here you can see a couple of the schools, services, churches, and as you can see it's like really full. So you could get a sense that it's a really strong strength for South Chicago. As we were getting a tour from Angela, we met Brandon, which is one of the community members of the affordable housing. He has lived in affordable housing since I believe the 8th grade, and he actually opened up a store up north. And he mentioned that he really likes the community and the affordable housing, so to him that's a really big strength. Another strength is People's Park. This used to be a really it used to be a vacant lot, and it wasn't like a really nice asset to the community. So what happened was that they put a park there now. It gives character to the community, and it looks really nice. Here is Gilbert. He's from the YMCA senior housing, and he gets all his information from YMCA. He's really aware of all the events that are happening because he gets information from YMCA, so that's a really big strength. Another strength is the commercial district. Back when the steel mills were open, the commercial avenue was thriving and very lively. But when they closed down, a lot of people left, which meant that there wasn't enough commercial, movements in South Chicago. But although a lot of stores did close down and a lot of people left, there's still some stores here that are still thriving, such as Steel City Furniture. It's a really old store, and it's very iconic for here in South Chicago. We went to meet Dan and Lydia. They're from Chamber of Commerce. They're from the South Chicago Chamber of Commerce, and we believe that they're a really big part of the strength of South Chicago because they focus on the commercial aspect, and they work on keeping the stores that are already here and bringing in more so that it could possibly become what it used to be. Another thing that we found that was really important was that a lot of people do come back to the community. For example, here's Maria and Maria. They used to live in the community, and but they decided to leave. But although they did leave, they always come back for church and to go shop around Commercial Avenue. So as you can see, even though that a lot of people do tend to leave, they like to come back.
The weaknesses of South Chicago include lack of communication and awareness of events. Residents lack interest and motivation to be involved in the community. Lack of jobs, lack of essential amenities, youth leaving the community and declining population, safety and crime, vacant lots, and abandoned buildings. So communication is a weakness in South Chicago because they have different apps, but South Chicago doesn't utilize them. So we needed to figure out how they were communicating and how they become aware of different events. Another weakness of South Chicago are vacant lots and abandoned buildings. We found out that South Chicago has over 540 city-owned vacancies, and based on the UPenn study, we found that vacant lots attract crime and rodents and distract from positive aspects, and it causes anxiety. This is Angela. She works for Jerome Gates, which is an affordable housing community in South Chicago. And she's been working there for 2 years, and she said that she still feels unsafe in where she works because of the vacant lots and abandoned buildings.
When we first got into researching in South Chicago, I kind of thought that it was a ghost town, because of all the media and because of the steel mills closing. But we, while researching it and getting to know the area, we realized that there's a lot of opportunities in South Chicago. Some of those opportunities could be activating lots and vacant buildings, the lakeside development, using the velodrome, future developments, and being realized, activating Steelworkers Park, activating the lakefront and river, increasing communication and awareness, and the opportunities that I want to focus on now are vacant lots and abandoned buildings. There are many things you could do with the vacant lots and abandoned buildings. Some creative things we found, if you can see in the pictures, that some children were making a playground out of one of the vacant lots. And another thing you could do with the vacant lots are like different parks or different recreational purposes. The abandoned buildings, as you can see, this one is painted, and the artist, she painted over it because it gives life, to something that's not really too much going on with. Vacant lots can be used for community gardens and etc. And activating Steelworkers Park is a big opportunity. It's located on East 87th Street. It is dedicated to the steel workers that used to work at the steel mill, which is very good because it keeps the flow of the history going in South Chicago. Events like Shakespeare in the Park happen in the park, but more events and attention needs to be put to the park because it has a lot of potential that still has to come out.
So our focus at first was to focus on the lakefront off of Steelworkers Park that leads into Lake Michigan, but the lakeside development, they have plans to make a harbor in that area. So we decided to move our focus toward the Calumet River. And at the moment, the area where South Chicago's land and Calumet River's water meet, it's just a lot of hard rocks at the moment, and it isn't really accessible to people who live in Chicago because of the fact that it was a lot of old buildings there and there's a lot of debris left from there. So for the Calumet River, back in 2011, it was classified as unsafe for direct human contact because of all the municipal waste and all the industrial waste that was poured into the river. And in 2013, in the WEZ interview with Indiana resident Jim Smith, he said that the Calumet River was a disposal point for years of surrounding factories and for the townspeople. And the government has made strides on trying to clean the river up. They had just built a disinfection facility not too far from our area. And so we see this as an opportunity because not every neighborhood can say that they have a river in their area. So why not take advantage of it? And we plan to build something unique to not only Chicago but citywide. Not only South Chicago but citywide.
Because South Chicago lacks communication, we identified how different communities in Chicago communicate. So we found that almost all communities communicate through the social network or social media rather. And we found that South Chicago has a Chamber of Commerce, and on Facebook they post different events in their calendar to make it aware that they're having events. But South Chicago, the people in South Chicago, they rarely use it. So instead, they found out that they talk to each other. And while we were walking around South Chicago, we found that they don't have many flyers. So this could be an opportunity because they have a lot of vacant lots and they don't have a designated place to talk. So maybe we can use a vacant lot to create a small place for them to communicate.
So some threats we find in the community, the lakeside development, unrealized promises of future developments, industries impacting health of South Chicago residents, making the media negatively portraying South Chicago. And I'm going to elaborate on the unrealized promises that came to South Chicago. So back in 2001, Solo Cup decided that they were going to build a factory in South Chicago on the south side of the former steel mills site. But in 2002, they started the construction, and that's why there's two big barren slabs of concrete on the southern part. But in 2007, they sold the land back to the city of Chicago because they wanted to expand on their factory that they already have on 75th and Costner instead. And this was detrimental to the community because of the fact that unemployment is a big problem, and a factory coming into the community would help solve that problem. And this has happened before with other underlying promises. And when Kevin and Joanne stopped by for one of our earlier Smart Looks, they had went into more depth about this issue. And the Marianos that are being built on the lakeside site as we speak, this is one of the first steps to solving the unemployment problem, because it will bring jobs when it is up and running, and it will bring a food chain to South Chicago, because it's a food that
So after we looked at some of the opportunities, we decided to propose some designs to possibly solve those problems, we could say. So something that we looked at were vacant lots and abandoned buildings. As you can see when you walk down Commercial Avenue, you can tell that there's a lot of vacant lots and abandoned buildings. So I decided to propose a couple of things that could possibly go in those abandoned lots and abandoned buildings. Here are a couple of them that I proposed. For example, there could be a outside seating area for a restaurant. There could also be a bike shop around the neighborhood. There could be just like seating all around the area. So here's some more. There could be like benches around Commercial Avenue, more outdoor seating, cafe. One that I'm going to elaborate on is the skate park that I think would go really well in the street right after the library. You can see it where it's pointing at. Right above that is the library and the future Sky Art. So I decided that that would be a nice spot because there's not really any skate parks around here, so it would attract a lot of people. Plus, it's right in front of the library and in front of the future Sky Art, so it would already have a lot of viewers and people who would want to go there. I think it would attract a lot of people from outside of the community, and I think that would be really nice. Another one is outdoor seating for a specific corner. Whenever we came to the site in South Chicago, when we walked around, we always thought that there were a lot of people just standing in, in different corners. For example, here where Family Dollar is at, it was a very populated area, and we noticed that a lot of people were just standing and not really doing anything. So I thought that if we added some different seating, as you can see here, there's like seating for all types of sizes. And if we just added different seats with more color in it, it could become more lively and give a better aspect. Another one could be to add some divvy bikes, probably right in front of the library, because as you can see, there's a lot of people going in and out of the place, and Sky Art is going to be there, so it's going to have a lot of people going through that same corner. It's going to be very populated, and it's going to give a better aspect. Also, there's not really a bike shop here or anything, and we rarely see people in bikes. So it could be that there's not, service that provides it.
Activating Steelworkers Park. Well, Steelworkers Park I think is very crucial to the neighborhood that we activate Steelworkers Park. because it has the potential to be the Millennium Park of South Chicago. It's 16 and a half acres, and it's all like green space, which is good, but there's a lot of potential in that. Lakeside Development will be working on the space, so we thought the best way to activate the park is through temporary structures and programs. As you can see, the two main additions we thought would be good for the Steelworkers Park is the amphitheater and ultimate frisbee field. The amphitheater could be the home for Shakespeare in the Park and different programs like a movie night in the park, which would be enjoyable. And it could also bring in local musical talents. So this is just another map, just pointing out the different things we would like to add. A is a pier tower where you can see towards the lake and towards the city, so you can get a nice view because it is a beautiful spot. C is seating because it's a wide open space, and I thought it would be enjoyable if you can actually, sit down in it. D is the covering of actually G, which is a tree pod, and I thought it would be very interesting to add that because they're artificial trees that light up, and they use solar power. And I thought that would be cool to incorporate because South Chicago is starting to become known for its green features. So that would just be like a cherry on top. So D would be the covering to just give shade over the tree pods. H, who doesn't like rolling hills? In the summer you can just roll down them. In the winter you can slide down. Everybody's been a kid once. So E is another way of shading the area. It's just artificial shading, and these pop up a lot in parks in the Chicagoland area. So I thought it would be good to incorporate that. F is the ultimate frisbee field that we thought would be good to add because it's a new sport that, well, it's not really new, but it's getting realized now, and I thought it would be good to the community because the community gets to learn something new, and it can bring people to the community to check it out. And I is Weeping Willow. Like I said, we try to avoid planting trees because Lakeside Development is going to be working on the site in the next 25 to 45 years. So planting trees would kind of just be, it wouldn't be the right thing to do because it's just going to get pulled up and removed. So we're like Pete from Landon Baker Architect. He gave me a great idea about the weeping willows, and he said that would be a good aspect to look at. So the problem was trying to make something that's not really real, but it gives that same aspect as the weeping willow, and we came up with an artificial weeping willow that Sky Art could paint, which would give it would basically keep the Sky Art still invested in the community and just give it different things to go off of.
Okay, so the purple lines, I don't know if you see them, the purple lines are existing bike paths that already exist in South Chicago, and with the ideas that we came up with, we wanted to intertwine the lakeside development and already existing South Chicago. while I was looking at the Lakeside Development website, they had a lot of skyscrapers and a lot of amenities that South Chicago didn't have, and I figured that might cause some tension between the two communities. So the red lines are bike paths that we would propose, like for example, extending 83rd, that bike path all the way through Lakeside and coming along the street, and making 187 coming through, connecting with the 183rd and 91st, and they will all lead to the Riverwalk, and that's the Riverwalk along Calumet, the Calumet River, and this red spot, red shaded area right here is a park that we plan to have that would basically be in between the two communities, so people from Lakeside can enjoy it, and also people from South Chicago can enjoy it. It would be an extension of the Park number 503 that already exists, and the orange shaded area, that's just new development that we have because that land isn't really being used at the moment. So for the Riverwalk, this is these are a little collages to get the point across of how I actually want the Riverwalk to look. Up here is points to this area right here. And you can see the Indiana Toll Bridge and the Calumet Bridge, even some exciting views that the community already has to offer. And right here, I took a picture of the San Antonio Riverwalk and cut around it, and I put in restaurants that Chicago has, and you can find anywhere else. So people who come from out of town, maybe different cities, they can enjoy Chicago food as opposed to eating something that they can have back at home. And you can't see it right here, but on the cobblestone, instead of walking on normal concrete, I was thinking that we could have cobblestone that the Sky Art kids can paint on. They incorporate local community, local organizations, and on the wall right here, I was thinking we could have local artists, do the murals, and just incorporate the community. It could be South Chicago's.
Maurice, one thing that I just want to point out that you can't see so well, but like you said in this collage, you put along restaurants that are iconic to Chicago. So that little white sign that you can't read so well, it says Harold's Chicken Shack.
Okay.
We're hungry already.
Because South Chicago lacks communication and awareness, I decided that we should implement we should use the vacant lots to implement a small hangout spot. So basically, we use a vacant lot and we put it in a residential area because we wanted to have like a oriented and safe feel. So when you walk up, you see like it's curved and it leads you to an information board because the intended goal is for you to leave with more information than you came with. So it had a seating area that faced the information board, and it'll have trees and it'll just make you feel like you're at home. I propose that we should have different things, like music seems to be very important to South Chicago, so we can have different structures of music. We can also have events there. Just this past weekend, it was a Latin band at Calumet Park, so we can have like local artists and stuff like that in small areas like this. Art is very important to South Chicago, so we can host different events, and Sky Art can actually expose the stuff that they do. We have a steel thing, and basically this will portray the history of South Chicago, and it'll also have steel features such as steel trees and steel benches, and it'll also give the community a lot of character. And the last one we have is a seasonal thing, so basically a lot that hosts different events as far as like we can go sledding or like pumpkin patches or scarecrow making, apple picking, stuff like that. It'll give like the kids something to do throughout different seasons, such as the urban farm in South Chicago.
So what does a community of choice look like? We believe that a community of choice should definitely have amenities for people to sustain a healthy and productive life. It should have simple things like different modes of transportation, a sense of history and arts. It should be also safe and diverse. It should have room for improvements and intentions of doing so. South Chicago has many things that can consider it to be a community of choice. However, every community has its weaknesses. It is important to identify them and discover the potential of transforming weaknesses into opportunities for the neighborhood. cityLab has identified a few of South Chicago's opportunities, and we believe that they will allow South Chicago to thrive and become a community of choice for many people. Our next step is to compile all of our research into a document and that will serve as a tool for everyone to learn more about South Chicago. It will be available on the website. Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions or comments?
I just want to congratulate you guys. It was pretty interesting. I think it was really well done.
Thank you.
When did you guys start your project and how long did it take you to research and plan?
It was a 6-week workshop, so we started 5 weeks ago. This is our last week. And, we throughout the whole time we were researching, but our points changed. It varied on what we found, so it took a couple of different directions, but this is what we came up with. Yes.
How is our neighborhood similar to your neighborhood? I don't know if you guys are from South Chicago.
I live in the back of the yard. It's 50-30. In a way, it is similar. Transportation-wise, it would be because South Chicago has a lot of different ways of transportation: metro, CTA, and the buses. So I would say in that aspect, that would be the most common thing. But South Chicago is pretty unique, I would say.
I live in Little Village and I had never come to South Chicago, so the first time that I came down here, mostly because of the media, I wasn't too sure of what to expect, but getting here, I actually really liked the area, and as we were doing interviews, I found that the people here are like really friendly, which I don't really find that in my neighborhood.
So working on this project, what have you gained to take away from it to incorporate your own?
Oh, wow. I would say I would take the awareness out of it because I didn't know how much I was how much I was missing in my community until we started researching things that communities, ideal communities would have. So I think that would be what I would take away. But also that South Chicago is a real beautiful place. So I would take away trying to find more things that are unique to my community that South Chicago have. Yes.
We commend you. This is absolutely marvelous. And you included the business about broken promises. There have been so many over the years, and as I look at this, so many of them are easy enough to implement, right? And they enhance the community. It's absolutely fabulous. And I can hardly wait for a weeping willow that actually weeps. Thank you guys.
Any more questions or comments? Yes.
Great job. Like started thinking about design and how to apply, real things to some of the SWOT analysis, and that was really great. And I wonder, it seems like, with the connection with Bennett and Howard, that we should try and get you guys to present to the city.
Yeah.
And really kind of take the show. and, you know, try and really show this to other people. Because I think, you know, just the idea of really drilling down and discovering a neighborhood and what it's all about is pretty important. And like I said, people just don't know about such now. It should.
I wanted to piggyback on that comment that a lot of people think that South Chicago ends in Pilsen. And so there's a lot of people when we meet from other neighborhoods, they're like, where are you from? And they're like, South Chicago. And they're like, where's that at? And you know, I know when I first started with this organization, their big model was put South Chicago back on the map. And so I think, you know, that that's important that other people realize that South Chicago doesn't end in Pilsen. It goes even further south, so. Very good, very nice. I like the fact that you know, that we need to put South Chicago on the website and have it on the neighborland and stuff like that, so people can be more aware of the work that we do.
We have a website right now, Spotlighting Southeast Chicago, that's trying to link everything in the region. So it's www.spotlightingsoutheastchicago.com. If you go there, we've linked every organization we know about, and we're giving history, we're giving green history, we're giving building history and that. And we want, if you're not connected with us and you have a story to tell, we want to be connected. So that anybody can come to that one site and then branch off into anything else that connects to the region. It's relatively new, we've had it up for maybe 6 months or so. But it is there, so we're not selling anything, you know, other than we are selling Southeast Chicago.
Okay.
And so we welcome you to come aboard and let us connect with you as well, let people be able to connect with you through that one stop.
Because I think even where I live, I feel like a lot of people don't hear about that area either. Like, if they don't hear about South Chicago, let alone are they going to hear about the east side and Headwich? They're like, that's like a forgotten part of the town too.
Mm-hmm.
So what is, I've heard Southeast Chicago, South Chicago.
The Southeast Chicago is the umbrella term we use to include Headwich, East Side,
South Deering.
South Deering, and South Chicago.
Communities.
And then within that umbrella, we spotlight the various things from the various communities and identify them within that umbrella. So we have the umbrella, and then we have the components of the umbrella as well.
Yeah, I'll just piggyback on what Jeff said. Again, as architects, we don't always get to have 6 weeks to spend in every community in which we work. So I think the work that you did is really going to help us figure out how we design and how we design better for this community. And I think a lot of what you identified through these interviews, those very, very sophisticated interviewing techniques that you've got on these stories, and the communication or lack of awareness was a really interesting thing, and how you use design to solve those problems. And as Jeff said, I think a lot of these are really doable. They're not grand schemes, but they can be done. And then I like that you're allowing for change to happen in the future, that this isn't like the design that's going to solve everything, but it's something that can be done now, and the community can grow and change as it needs to. Wonderful job.
Thank you.
I too would like to piggyback off that, especially the communications piece. I thought it was really interesting how you all did sort of solve or talk about that issue in terms of the space and designing the space for people to come together. Because I think it really does recognize that word of mouth works best for this community, and it's really tailored towards South Chicago and not just sort of like an overarching trying to get something.
We'd like to request that if you move forward on this project, if you will keep Claretian and the Southeast Chicago Historical Society in mind, because it would be very easy to incorporate historic sites in this. And there are already tours that have been created, but they're on paper, they're somebody's drawer. They're not out there facing people. And who remembers Gene Krupa? Well, you see, okay, good. The two of us do.
Ancient people remember Gene Krupa.
If you watch any of the old black and white movies about big bands, there will be a moment where Harry James stops with the trumpet, or the clarinet stops, Betty Goodman or whatever else, and they focus on the drummer. And the drummer gets like 5 minutes. That's Gene Krupa. Gene Krupa grew up across the street from the chamber office. Now you know, and now we need a sign.
Yeah, South Chicago has like a lot of historical value. It's like a time capsule. Just
That's a good job.
dig it up.
I mean to mention one other thing too. This video, if there will be a video here, I never know until I put it in the computer what we have. I think I have a video here. will go up on another site that we have that we created several years ago. We're covering about 8 years of history right now, and it's I can't give you the link because it's so complicated. It's a YouTube site, and I can never remember the full URL address. We have cards if you're interested. We post on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, all that kind of stuff whenever we post anything like that. And what we've been doing is trying to do what the downtown media don't do, and that is to tell the good stories about what's happening in the region, both environmentally, culturally, and just community-wise. So we have about 254 videos up now mostly about the community and about things that are happening where people aren't killing each other, aren't punching each other out, but are doing really fine things. Media basically, it's if it leads, and let's go out and find somebody who's killing each other and then make that the story of the community. So we've tried to counter that with what we're doing on YouTube. This will be on that site. I wish I could, I can't remember it, but I'll.
Calumet Stewardship.
It does have Calumet Stewardship in it, but it's a YouTube site. And again, we have cards if you're interested right now, or when we post it on the other sites like Facebook and that, you'll be able to link to it that way. So.
Not to mention some of the famous movies that have been filmed here.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I know in the South Chicago area there was that one, I can't think of the name, with Harrison Ford.
The Fugitive.
The Fugitive.
So we could put his footprints right on Commercial Avenue where they have that scene, and you could be Harrison Ford running for your life.
Right?
The Package with Gene Hackman. Same director, Andy Davis, who was a graduate of Bowen High School.
Who learned how to use
Just
it.
down the block here at Pilgrim Baptist.
Blues Brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's much to celebrate. There's much to celebrate.
So I think that you see is that when you share this, especially with people in the community, it brings back memories and it really takes us from where we have been and makes us really think about how to make a better future. And thank you for that.
Good. Just real quick, each of you, so it's been 6 weeks, right? Yeah. And just some of those shots the first time you came down here. And like, could each of you just maybe say a few words about, kind of what you've learned and how you're affected, and kind of over the 6 weeks from the first time you were here to now? I mean, just a few personal things.
I'll start with some of ours.
It taught me a lot about the history of the community. I've lived here from I kind of lived here. I didn't really know I knew about the now, but I never even knew about Lakeside. I didn't know anything about Steelworkers Park. I didn't know really about the future or the history. I learned about how Commercial Avenue used to be, steel mills. It was a lot of new stuff that I learned just about the
For me personally, I think I got much better at presenting. I think it was for the school and stuff, but I think I got much better at presenting. I became more aware of what people tend to do. Like if you ever leave your community for something, and just different things like that, or what's happening in your own community. Like as we were researching, there's this website where you can find out everything that's happening in your own community, and then different communities, and there's actually a lot of things happening in my own. I didn't know about it. It just makes me really aware.
For me, cityLab really expanded my comfort zone, because at first I was like, research, I just like to draw, So it was really a really good experience learning how to research, how to take in information and relevancy of everything you take in. I learned a lot about the community. It's a community that I would visit, if events were going on. I learned how to give a correct interview. I just learned a lot of good things that I can take into college and to my career. So, it was a really good experience.
From cityLab, I learned what I could do in my own community, because South Chicago is basically representing my community, and I live in Pullman. George.
George.
Yeah, He had the trains and stuff, and we have like a big abandoned building along, I think it's Cottage Grove, and that reminds me of the city fields. And we have like baking lots and stuff, just like South Chicago. So I think we need people like us in my community to actually create the funds to hopefully bring our community to be as good as South Chicago will be.
I just want to thank you again. This is the second time I've seen it. It was second and a half time I've seen it. And I'm just really impressed by your presentation skills. But also I think the thing that's going to stick with me is about making Steel Workers Park the Millennium Park of South Chicago. And how it's really, I know how much I love South Chicago, but it's always encouraging to me and inspiring me to see other people come into South Chicago and gain an eye for South Chicago and see the good things and get delighted about it. That continues to spark my love for South Chicago. So I thank you for that.
Thank you, guys, for having us.
Thank you.